Braga is a city and a municipality in the northwestern Portuguese district of Braga, in the historical and cultural Minho province. The city has a resident population of 192,494 inhabitants. It is host to the oldest Portuguese archdiocese, the Archdiocese of Braga of the Catholic Church, and it is the seat of the primacy of the Spains. Under the Roman Empire, then known as Bracara Augusta, the settlement was the capital of the province of Galicia. Inside of the city there is also a castle tower that can be visited. Nowadays, Braga is a major hub for inland northern Portugal, and it is an important stop on the Portuguese Way, path of the Road of St. James. The city was also the European Youth Capital in 2012. Human occupation of the region of Braga dates back thousands of years, documented by vestiges of monumental structures starting in the megalithic era. During the Iron Age, the Castro culture extended into the northwest, characterized by Bracari peoples who occupied the high ground in strategically located fortified settlements. The region became the domain of the Calaici Bracari, a Celtic tribe who occupied what is now northern Portugal, Galicia and Asturias in the northwest of Iberia. The Romans began their conquest of the region around 136 BC and finished it by pacifying the northern regions. During the reign of Emperor Augustus, the Civitas of Bracara Augusta was founded in 20 BC. In the context of the administrative reorganization of these Roman acquisitions, Bracara was rededicated to the emperor, taking on the name Bracara Augusta. The city of Bracara Augusta developed greatly during the 1st century and reached its maximum extension around the 2nd century. Towards the end of the 3rd century, the Emperor Diocletian promoted the city to the status of capital of the administrative area, Conventus Bracarensis, the southwestern area of the newly founded Roman province of Galicia. During the Germanic invasions of the Iberian Peninsula, the area was conquered by the Suebi, a Germanic people from Central Europe. In 410, the Suebi established a kingdom in northwest Iberia covering what is present-day's northern half of Portugal, Galicia and Asturias, which they maintained as Galicia, and had Bracara as their capital. This kingdom was founded by Hermeric and lasted for over 150 years. By about 584, the Visigoths took over control of Galicia from the Suebi, and Braga was made a provincial capital. Braga had an important role in the Christianization of the Iberian Peninsula. The first known bishop of Braga, Paternus, lived at the end of the 4th century, although Saint Ovidius, and it was in Braga that the Archbishopric of Braga held their councils. As a consequence, the archbishops of Braga later claimed the title of Primate of Portugal, then a county, and for a long period, claimed supremacy over the entire Hispanic Church. Yet, their authority was never accepted throughout Hispania. The transition from Visigothic reigns to the Muslim conquest of Iberia was very obscure, representing a period of decline for the city. The Moors briefly captured Braga early in the 8th century, but were repelled by Christian forces under Alfonso III of Asturias in 868 with intermittent attacks until 1040, when they were definitely ousted by Ferdinand I of Leon and Castile. As a consequence, the bishopric was restored in 1070. The first new bishop, Pedro, started rebuilding the cathedral. Between 1093 and 1147, Braga became the residential seat of the Portuguese court. In the early 12th century, Count Henry of Portugal and Bishop Geraldo de Moissac reclaimed the archbishopric seat for Braga, with power over a large area in Iberia. The medieval city developed around the cathedral, with the maximum authority in the city retained by the archbishop. Braga, as the main center of Christianity in Iberia during the Reconquista, held a prominent stage in medieval politics, being a major contributor to the independence of Portugal with the intervenience of the Archbishop D. Pio Mendes in the Vatican, with Pope Alexander III, which led to the promulgation of the Bulla Manifestus Probatum in 1179. Recognizing Portugal as an independent kingdom under D. Afonso I Henriques. The following centuries marked a slow decline in its prestige and influence, marked by the infamous theft of holy relics by the then Archbishop of Santiago of Compostela Gelmírez. The relics only returned to Braga in the 1960s. In the 16th century, due to its distance from the coast and provincial status, Braga did not profit from the adventures associated with the age of Portuguese discoveries. Yet, Archbishop Diogo de Souza, who sponsored several urban improvements in the city, including the enlargement of streets, the creation of public squares and the foundation of hospitals and new churches, managed to modernize the community. He expanded and remodeled the cathedral by adding a new chapel in the Manuelan style, and generally turning the medieval town eye.